What if I wore a crown and came down in a bubble? What would you do?
Uh,
Be very mad at you.
we would
Why?
we would pop it.
Oh
Yeah, knock that bitch out of the sky.
no!
Jesus.
Maybe in that timeline we actually got the Wicked movie in like 2016.
Oh no,
Oh,
we got
no.
Leah Michelle as Elphaba.
Oh
Leah
no!
Michelle and Dove Cameron.
Ooh.
So let's talk about a little movie. A little movie we all went to go see last night by the name of Wicked Part 1.
That's not the name of the movie.
What is it? What is the movie?
Yeah, what is the name of the movie?
Wicked.
Yeah.
Yeah. It says it on all the merchandise. Because we can't let people know it's a part one.
God damn
Even
it,
though they
he's
did
right.
it as soon as the movie started, they made sure to let you know this is
Literally.
part 1.
I did not expect them to tack it onto the title screen. I will say.
I love it when they do that. Dune did it.
Yeah.
It did it.
But not until
Oh,
the
okay.
end, right?
Yeah.
Both of those, yeah.
Mhm.
Dune, it says it at the beginning.
Oh, it does. Okay.
Yeah. Which is crazy
I
because
wish-
Dune had no guarantee of the part two. Like, this was
That's
at least, we
crazy.
filmed both of these. They are coming out.
Right.
Mm.
I kind of wish they would find a better name for it than Part 1, Part 2. I feel like Part 1, Part 2 is so clunky. Like, they could have called Wicked Act 1.
I was about
Act
to say,
two.
I was just about to say that would be really cool.
Like,
not
yeah. Or
to
like
the
with
theater.
Dune, you could have done Dune Volume 1, Dune Volume 2. Like, I
love a
feel
good
like they're
volume.
cooler names. Yeah. Like, I feel like the parts
are movies,
so...
Or
not
even the
books.
classic chapter 1,
Yeah.
chapter 2, or book
Yeah.
1, book 2, which usually only happens in TV shows, but still.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I feel like no more Part 1. Name it something else.
Yeah.
Pick another word.
But I think Universal started this in like 2015, 2016. So it's taken almost a decade to get it to the big screen. And finally, it's here. And it's good. So it's very surprisingly, it's good.
Surprisingly.
Huh? I don't know, because not every Broadway adaptation,
Yeah.
Into the Woods, wink, wink. Cats, wink, wink.
Yeah.
Like they don't all work, but this one did, and it had a lot riding on its shoulders too, just because of the legacy of it all. But I think it did a good job. I don't know if we should go through the movie like in order, because like from start to finish this thing is moving, and like it starts really like a really good opening. That I love that opening. I was thinking about that. That was another thing that gave me chills. This is the beginning and the end, like full body chills of like
Yeah.
we start off with the announcement of the death of the Wicked Witch of the West. And it's like this long kind of sweeping shot where we see like all of Oz. We pass like Dorothy and the crew, and we go on to Emerald City. And then into Munchkinland. It's I love how theatrical and kind of extra this movie is. Like, I think that really lends itself for a Broadway adaptation. I know most people are gonna be like, "Oh, it's too much," but I think that was one of the aspects I adored the most about this movie. I don't know about you guys. Yeah, if you guys have any thoughts of just like how we started the movie, like what you were feeling.
Yes. I didn't like quite know how they would open it, but like as soon as they got into that flying monkey theme, I was in. I was like ready. Like it's so fucking good. Like the music right off the bat is spectacular. It's like the Broadway score, but just like taken up to the next level. Like just like way more intricate. Like you can feel all the moving parts like in the music right away, like all the different like all the parts are there, but it's just like a little extra. Like there's just like more to it, more depth. I love it. You have not seen Act 2, correct?
No. There are some
Okay.
things I know. I don't know a whole lot.
I just want to
I-
like make that.
And I was gonna say,
Yeah.
Morgan and I talked about it earlier,
Yeah.
Phil, and
'Cause we're
I
all going in
assume
with
we're
different
blanket, no Act 2 spoilers here.
Yeah. Let's say that. Let's
Yeah.
do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Just for the cleanness of it.
Yeah.
I had a short fixation on this musical when I was in high school after Maleficent came out because I remember everybody was like,
Yeah.
Maleficent's just Disney's ripoff of Wicked. And I was like, what's Wicked? And then I looked it up and I was like, oh, I love this. And so like I read up on everything that happened in the musical and
Yeah.
in the books and stuff. And there's some things I remember, but then again, that was
Okay.
like 2015. It was a really long
Yeah.
time ago. So some things I recall, some things I don't. Yeah. So I didn't want to go revisit it because I just kind of wanted to experience it fresh with this
Yeah.
adaptation. But yeah, and then Connor's actually read some of the book.
Yeah, I had the book right here.
Nice.
And that's also where I was talking with Morgan beforehand, was that I was curious how they would open the movie because the book basically has 3 openings.
Oh,
It-
okay.
So it opens with the Dorothy meeting the wizard and the wizard setting her off to go get Elphaba. Then it fast forwards to No One Mourns the Wicked with Glinda and Munchkin Land. And then it does what the movie and play do of go back to Elphaba's birth. And then a good chunk of the book actually stays in her childhood. I know neither the movie or musical really stay there too long. But yeah. So I low-key thought they would do all 3 openings. They did just end up doing what the musical does of the opening with No One Mourns the Wicked.
Mhm.
And they saved the Wizard for later.
Okay, nice.
But
Yeah.
yeah. I
Is the
did.
bear stuff from the book? Because I don't remember that being in the show.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
I figured.
it is.
Yeah, all right, that makes sense. Like, I feel like that makes a lot of sense because I know they were trying to tie in like more of the
Like, I
animal
don't
activism
remember
this time.
If it's exactly a bear, but yes, her nanny
Right.
is an animal. I don't-
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
question
Mhm.
so there's not a lot of animal activism or politics in the Broadway show. But
It's
There's some,
lightly
but it's,
touched
yeah, it's
on.
very light because the book is like heavy,
Yeah.
like heavy book, and so that's like one of the bigger things in it. From my knowledge of it, I have not read it, but yeah. So when they pulled that, I figured it was probably from the book, and I knew they were trying to pull more things.
so is in the show Dr. Dillerman, is he still a goat?
He's still a goat.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he's so good.
Yep.
'Cause I know he's in
Yep,
there.
and they still get into like him getting removed, like that happens. I don't remember like the cabin full of other animals that he talks to. I think that's a
I was gonna
movie
say,
thing.
That's
Yeah.
a book movie thing. And stuff.
Yeah.
So is that song
Mhm.
original?
No,
Something
that is
Bad.
from the show, but he sings it in the classroom to Elfie in the Broadway musical, I believe, like after class.
Yes.
Yeah,
I-
it's been.
I
I've not
just
seen it since I
refreshed
saw it in 2016
on Monday.
so-
So.
I've seen the show, but it's been a long time. I used to listen to this soundtrack on repeat. It was like a CD in my car that I just had. And I would just listen to it over and over and over and over. So like that's the knowledge I'm going in with. I'm very familiar with the soundtrack, but I've only seen the show the one time. I have not refreshed. I have not viewed a slime tutorial since I saw it in person. But yeah, I love the show. I'm not as refreshed on it as Mr. Movie Turtle is. So
Yeah, I just refreshed with my slime tutorial on Monday, so it's fresh. And it is like Phil said, the way the movie opens is so big and grand compared to like I love the musical, but it is I touched on it when I talked about Back to the Future, but like the musical is only so big, like it is very limited sets, nothing too
Yeah.
crazy.
Yep.
Like it starts with the map of Oz, but in the movie you can actually physically
over the
go
map.
to these
Yeah.
locations and sweep over the land of Oz
very cool.
into No One Mourns the Wicked.
Yeah, it makes me wish I went to go see it when it was here back in February. I really.
It'll
Mhm.
come back around.
Yeah,
they
no,
have
it's
two
always
tours
here. It's always on tour, so I'm not sweating
Yeah.
it.
We'll catch it next time.
Yeah, I'm just questioning. They probably won't before part 2, which may be fine because I think I want to do
Yeah.
part 2 fresh.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. No One Mourns the Wicked. Really good opening number. It's
Yes.
I'll right off the bat with the choreography too. That's another thing I love about this movie is strong emphasis on dance and choreography, even down to when we're doing Elphaba's backstory with the governor and his wife. And she's having an affair, and they're like dancing the affair. I'm like, that's really cool. Who choreographed?
The piano was crazy. Oh my god!
Like choreography, but for an affair. It's just like that's it's such a musical Broadway thing, but it's so fun, and I loved it. And that's one of the things that off the bat made me like think like, okay, we're in good hands. This is gonna be fun.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know like how much you were saying like it focuses on the like childhood aspect a bit more in the books. I don't know like how much of it is like stays in the movie, like how much did they transfer, like, you know.
Just that like little bit of just that like scene of her
With
throwing the rocks and
Okay.
I was gonna say the book. It's one of those play based loosely on book, movie based on play, and so we bring a couple things, but it really. And I have not finished the book. I should preface that, but like I've seen that bit.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay.
And you're talking about the choreography of No One Mourns the Wicked. It's also the fact that with it being a movie, we can get up in everybody's face.
Yeah.
Like to see Glinda's facial expressions during No One Mourns the Wicked. Like,
yeah.
I know one of the big popular theories people always talk about is that she's singing about herself, you know, when the Wicked die alone because now her friend has gone and died, and she's, you know, as we learned by the end of the movie, given into the hierarchy, the patriarchy,
The patriarchy.
society.
The Mojo Dojo Casa House.
Yeah.
Ariana did great as right from the start. Just I
missed her doing like comedy.
I was
like,
just about to say that. I was like, I've forgotten how much I like love her as an actress. Like it's been so long. Love her music, but still, it was just great to see her back acting, and she really carried. Like the whole
and she's
bit
got
with the bubble
voice
was
now,
really
too.
fun.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does a really good job emulating Kristen Chenoweth, but also sounding like herself, and it was really weird, but not uncanny. But it was just like how she struck that balance was really interesting.
Yeah, she hit those whistle notes, and for like a second, I forgot that she was Ariana Grande. Like before that, I was like, "Oh, she's got range," and then I remembered. She's Ariana Grande. Like, she just does that. That's what she does. Like, yeah, soprano queen. I like that they kept the zzz in Dear Old Shiz. I was kind of afraid that they would get rid of that because it's silly, goofy. But like you said. Like I was like, oh, we're in good hands. Like they get the tone, they understand. Like, yeah.
Even that down to like all of the Easter eggs, which I'm sure I didn't catch all of them, but I just love all of the kind of nods to the original film with like Elphaba on the bike with the lion cub.
Yeah.
Even I think it's Miss Cobble, the like new head mistress character they made up. When she's talking to Elphaba moving in, she's like, "Oh, we'll fix this gulch," and it's like, because Mrs. Gulch
I noticed that too. Yeah,
I was like, that's a good one.
Glinda clapped some red shoes together.
Yep.
When
I thought that was particularly clever because it's like, oh, those aren't the slippers; they're just a pair of slippers. Like,
and then the box that the silver slippers were in had like ruby all around it. It was all the governor presented to Nessa. That the silver shoes were in. It was all like sparkly and red on the inside of that box, and I was like, oh, like that's a nice little detail. I like that they went back to the silver shoes. I think that that's really nice because they're silver in the source material. But I like that they did a little nod to the Ruby Slippers, and I'm also glad that like Universal made this film because they own the original, so like they can like make references to the 1930 film.
Who's gonna tell her?
Yeah.
What?
But
The Ruby shoes were made for the movie, right?
They were, but isn't the original movie MGM?
Yeah.
Oh, is it MGM?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
fuck.
what. Yeah.
Well, damn.
That's why they had to be silver because they can't use the ruby.
Yeah.
Damn, that's unfortunate. Anyway,
And she has to be legally
then how did they
distinct
get away
green.
with the witch theme in the trailer?
Oh, I'm sure you can like license that.
Okay.
Slash,
Yeah.
it's a cover.
Yeah,
Slash.
that's true.
Yeah. Slash is just a few notes, and it's like not like a whole song or anything. It's just
Right,
Can we use
that's
these
true.
notes? I don't know if there's any other Easter eggs. I'm like missing off the top of my
Yeah.
head. Like all of the nods to the original Wizard of Oz. Those were great. I think I love, like, I know a lot of people, we were going into it, we were like, why does this have to be like almost 3 hours? But like having watched the film now and thinking about it, I love that it was like, it didn't need to be, but I love that it was.
Yeah.
Just because it lends to how extra this movie is and what they were going for. And it allows us to, because I'm here, like a lot of things that I've seen about the musical is that there seems to be a pacing issue and that it like maybe moves a little too fast. And so I like that they took the time to kind of fix that error in this adaptation and just like allow us to live and breathe in the first, in each act of the story a little bit more. What was I going to say? Lost my train of thought. I was going to say it reminded me a little bit of like epic fantasy, like Lord of the Rings, almost, with like the world building and sort of production design and just how grandiose it is. And yeah, I love that. It also, like, people were making comparisons to Harry Potter and that Shiz University is very Hogwarts, and it made me think like, oh, I guess I was kind of missing this sort of almost YA fantasy-esque type of world. And yeah, and I didn't realize that I missed it until I watched this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good food. Good genre.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you said, it is the stage show, but longer. Like, I thought they would greatly divert and, like, do some more book stuff. But it really is, like, the show, and we just make things longer. We flesh things out more. Like how we said, in the show, you have Dr. Dilliman say there's something bad going on in Oz. And that's kind of all we touch on. Versus here, there was, like, the really cool bit where Elphaba, when she does her little magic freak out, how she breaks the crest and reveals below it that the school was founded by the animals.
Yeah.
Insane.
Like, you know, that's a book thing. And so that's where the musical doesn't even touch that. So I'll be curious if that comes up more in part 2 and things like that. Because we didn't totally touch on it this time.
Yeah. I was expecting it to be addressed
Yeah.
in the movie, but it wasn't. And I assumed that, that they were going to save it for part 2, maybe.
I'm so curious about part 2 because it is short. Act 2 is shorter than Act 1. There's like way fewer songs. And I think they have written original songs for this, and they weren't in part 1. So they've got to be in part 2 somewhere. I'm curious, like, who will get them and what we're fleshing out and what we're getting into. And I love Act 2. I'm so ready for Act 2. I can't believe they're going to make me wait a year for Act 2.
It's crazy that they're doing,
Yeah.
it's just, it should have been like January, November, like beginning of year,
Yeah.
end of year, to try to cap them, so you have a whole year to like talk with your friends about it and live with the soundtrack, and then it's like, oh, it's the end of the year, it's Wicked Part 2. Like,
Yep.
a whole year is crazy.
I know. They could have put it out in like May. They could put it out in May.
Yeah.
Have it be their big summer movie.
Yeah, and then Christmas, holidays, bring it back around.
Yeah.
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 Or like if you were saying next year May, like that.
Yeah. Yeah, like November now and then May of next year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just curious how long part 2 is gonna be. Like if
Me
they're gonna try
too.
and stretch
Yeah,
that
if
one
it'll
out
be
or if
2
they're-
hours or if it'll be 2.5
I'm
again.
I'm praying
Mhm.
that we don't get a battle of the 5 armies. Like okay, and then we ended everything the end. Like it's just like I hope
Yeah.
they really take their time
Yeah.
with it as much as they did with this with part
Yeah. I like the boat at
one.
Shiz.
Yeah.
I like that
Yeah.
they take boats up to it.
Mhm.
So cool.
Versus
Cool world
Carriage.
building. I like that the club was underwater.
Yeah.
So cool. Cool world building.
With the question I had thought of
Mm.
earlier was with the when Elphaba is freeing the lion cub, when she knocks everyone out with the poppies, is that a movie thing or is that something
That's
from
a
the
musical
That's the
thing.
movie.
Oh, did she not? I thought she knocked them out in the musical.
No, she
Or-
makes them all dance in the musical. And it is still everyone but
Oh.
Fiero.
Yeah.
But she
Okay.
makes them all dance. And then
Okay.
Fiero does the whole let's get out. You coming?
Love him.
Okay. Yeah, I was curious because I was just like thinking about the whole like nods to the original and the poppies
Mhm.
are the iconic flower. So I was wondering if that was something from the book or a musical or a movie.
Cool.
Hmm?
No, nothing.
Hmm.
Oh,
I
okay.
I don't know where I was going.
I love that Glinda has her mean little henchmen, her little minions. Bo and
Yes.
Yang, he was great.
Bo and Yang. I love that he's just playing himself.
Yeah.
I don't know why I expected any different.
he fits. It works.
Yeah. So funny. Him flirting with Fiero, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. That was a really good bit of just the like, I'll do
Yeah.
anything for you. He's like, can you move out the way? He's like, yeah, I guess that's anything.
Yeah. Yes. I love the costuming. That's like my biggest point overall the entire time. Every costume that was on screen, I was staring at it. I was staring at every detail of every costume. Oh my god, all the dresses. I love Elfie's glasses as well. I like
yeah.
the diagonal bridge. I think that's so cool and like whimsical.
I want a pair because the director wore them to
yeah.
the premiere. He
Oh
has,
my
he has a
God.
pair, and I was like, oh, I gotta get one.
They have every merch known to man. They have to have the glasses.
Yes, they have to. Come on.
Give me some blue light glasses that
was
look
gonna
like
say,
that. Like
I
I'm
think
so
they
serious.
Definitely, like I'm sure you
Yeah.
can find some cheaper ones. There's definitely
Yeah.
like some designer brand that
Yeah.
did do a collab,
Mhm.
but you could probably find some not like $300 ones.
I would probably do the
Mhm.
designer ones just because I could trust those to be sturdier. Like I would get a prescription put in them, and so
Yeah.
like I would actually wear those around. Those would be great.
Yeah, they're so cool. Yes. Yeah.
Outside of the musical, the like of course I knew the 3 iconic songs of
Mhm.
Popular, Dancing Through Life, Defying Gravity, and so I hadn't really heard much of anything else, and so I was excited to kind of experience the soundtrack live. I think that the rest of the songs are fine. I think the only 2 that I really liked outside of the main 3 were The Wizard and I and What Is This Feeling? Like those
Yeah.
2 like really stood out. And then everything else kind of blended a little, I'm sorry to say. I know the music is like iconic, but it did like a lot of people called it like Broadway generic, and I mean I wouldn't necessarily say that, but I guess kind of because it does come across as that kind of like we're just singing what's happening now type of music that I don't really love for musicals.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like I wasn't expecting to really like anything outside of Defying Gravity or Popular. I thought like, oh, those are the only 2 famous songs for a reason, so probably nothing else is gonna stand out. But I've been all day listening to The Wizard and I. Like I really like that one.
Yes. Yeah, I've had it in my head all day at work. I will say, like, I don't really care for I'm Not That Girl. Like, that's just not ever my favorite. Like, she sang it great, it sounded great, but just slow ballad. I get why it has to be there. Like, it's to set up the love triangle. But, like, other than that, like, but no, I love the soundtrack so much. I will say, like, my two favorite songs are in Act 2. So
Okay, well,
like I'm an Act 2 stan. I will not apologize. I'm very excited, but I'm glad you like the music. I love Wizard and I. So good. I was watching this like video essay on like the making of the musical, and people are talking about like the original like workshops where they were like workshopping the Broadway version of the show because they started in, I think, San Francisco and then moved over to Broadway. And like the first time Idina sang The Wizard and I, like the whole room was crying, and I was just like, yeah. Like, I was in the theater tearing up. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah,
Like,
that was another moment outside of the end that made me tear
Yeah.
up, especially during the Wizard of Oz and I when she has her vision and she's like, "Oh, one day I'll be celebrated." I like teared up a little because I was like, "Oh my god, that's like
Girl.
usually
it's so sad.
Yeah,
it's
it's
so
so
sad.
usually dark stuff like that makes me laugh, but I couldn't. I was like, "This is so messed up. We got to get her out of there."
Oh,
Like,
it's so sad.
Say the vision. I wondered if they were going to, because what's her Glinda? I'm losing her name.
What's her name?
Because
Glinda.
Glinda mentions the time dragon clock, but that's as far as they elaborated on it. And, you know, in the book, the time dragon clock is this thing where everybody debates: is it actually magic or is it, you know, trickery like what the wizard does? And so, like, her vision thing is kind of something she gets from the time dragon clock in the book.
Oh.
So that was also where it was cool to kind of see her just sort of daydream / conjure it herself, since, again, not something you would do in the musical. And
Yeah.
you know, we didn't even touch on the time dragon clock. Outside of, like, we see it physically outside Shiz in the one establishing shot. She
Cool.
mentions it.
Yeah.
in
I thought it was
her-
cool how they handled it too, how it like looks like the vision. It's just like a
watery
like a
reflection.
sunspot. Yeah. I thought that was really cool rather than because I expected them to do just like a full on boom because it's a movie. But I thought it was really cool, like subtle, like really nice how they handled it.
Yeah. So messed up.
Yeah. Oh, just you
Speaking-
wait.
I was gonna say,
good lord.
Speaking
Don't
of
say that
so
to me.
messed up and good old Shiz, I also thought it was sick and twisted with Madame Morrible. Of that,
Oh yeah, you told me. The thing you said
this
that
is in the musical, but I feel it hits so much more in the movie. Of Madame Morrible is the first person to show kindness to Elphaba in the movie.
Yeah.
And then who is the one that delivers the Wicked Witch announcement at the end of the film?
Yeah.
Like,
Sick and twisted.
kind of does that in the musical. She's not as nice as she is here in the movie.
Yeah,
Like, how
she was like
covers
very
for her
maternal.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so it was like, oh, that made that so much more sick and twisted.
Yeah.
The first
I really
person,
like. Oh, continue.
no, just that the first person I trusted, the first person to show me kindness, has now made me enemy number one of the state.
Yeah. I really like how they ramped up like the tension between Morrible and Glinda and Elfie. Like that whole dynamic is really fun and twisted. And Glinda wanting so bad, and she does in the musical too, but like wanting so badly to like, I want to be in the class, I want to be in the class, and just like really like amping that up, because then you have Morrible being like so much nicer to Elphaba and like resting their foreheads together and being like, oh, you sweet, beautiful, darling girl. And Glinda's standing over there like, I want her dead. Like, oh, so good. Yeah, no, I love that.
It was also nice to see Elphaba and Morrible's. I think we only saw the one, if I remember correctly. We only see the one lesson. But
Yeah.
it was nice to see it, just because that's one of those. We only have so much time in a stage musical. It's implied and mentioned. And then we have the Oz Dust where Morrible meets Glinda and is like, hey, you know, Elphaba said during our lessons that she was going to quit if you didn't join us. So here's your wand. Versus here, it was nice to at least see that versus just being told it. Again, the visual medium of film.
Yeah.
The visual medium and how it can be used.
Yes.
Mhm.
Speaking of Fiero, I love the bi vibes he was giving off.
Yeah.
Incredibly horny, way hornier than I was expecting.
Yeah.
Um,
I
yeah,
love him.
Jonathan Bailey did an amazing job. Not that I had any
Mhm.
doubts. I mean, the only thing I know him from is Bridgerton, but
Mhm.
like, still did an amazing job.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yep. Right
What?
in there.
What'd you say?
I knocked over my pink light.
Uh I
Oh
might
my god.
switch to
No.
pink if I can find my remote. Where did I put my remote? Just say,
He
'cause you can't
is
even
so
see my
like
face.
I've always known that he's pretty.
I
But
always know that he's pretty.
and I've
Go.
always had a crush on Fierro. Like day one, ground zero. Like as soon as I saw the musical for the first time, like I've had it bad for Fierro. But oh, it's worse now. It's so much worse now. Like I can't. It's bad. It's really because he has a real face now.
Yeah.
I was sitting too far to see the face of the guy playing Firo when I went. Like now he's got a face.
Yeah, see her jaw
Yeah.
drop.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
was crazy. I saw your jaw
Audible
drop
gasp.
and you leaned forward. Like the
Guilty as charged.
Chick-fil-A girl, just the and
The Riz.
it was fun. The choreography for like the Dancing Through Life number was also fun.
Yeah,
Like,
the
spinning
cool
library.
rotating.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool.
So many cool practical effects.
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
unfortunately look not the greatest at
Yeah.
times because they have like either a layer of CG or like the lighting is bad in some scenes.
Yeah, I
Like,
think it's
Yeah,
the
the
lighting,
color grading sometimes does not look great in the movie. Like it is like a little bit dull.
mm,
Which is really kind of my only big note is just that I wish they had like upped the color a little.
It
It's
seems
a
more
movie about a
dull.
green lady. Yeah.
It seems more
Yeah.
dull in the trailers. Like it
Yeah.
seems like they tried in the movie, but it's still just a
Mhm.
little like you can go
Yeah.
more colorful.
Literally, yeah. Turn up the saturation just a
Yeah,
little more.
Just a little more.
Yeah.
yeah, just watching all the interviews and like Morgan said, how they talk about like, yeah, that's a full mechanism. Everybody had to
So
like
crazy.
Jonathan Bailey talking like that took us 10 days to shoot because everybody had to be able to while it's twisting and turning and yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. So cool.
I couldn't really get a read on. I don't know if this is just as much screen time as they have in like the musical
Mhm.
of Bach and Nessa Rose. Like I don't know if they go, but they felt just like a tiny bit like off to the side. Like oh, and they're over there.
Mhm.
Like I felt we could have spent a little bit more time with that. I don't know if that's just again how they breeze past it.
I was gonna say they are kind of just
Yeah.
there in the
Yeah.
musical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
One of those like they'll be more important later, so we have to establish this stuff now. Like one of those things. So yeah, very bare bones, very just like, the feelings that are swirling and the deception that may or may not have occurred and yeah. So I thought it was I don't remember because it's been so long. Does he stand on stuff in the stage show?
he
Make him
does
feel taller?
occasion-
Okay.
not
I felt
as
like-
much as he does. Like it
Yeah.
is just like the one when you first meet him. but
Right. Okay. Interesting.
to make himself taller for Glinda. But then but yeah, and that's
Little
where
guy energy.
I also thought it was fun that they had the little line where it was Nessa making Nessa Rose so independent
Yeah.
versus in the musical. The whole reason Glinda, like they kind of changed that at the beginning of the movie, where
Mhm.
Glinda and Nessa in the play are both enrolled in Shiz and going to
Mhm.
Shiz. But the governor is only sending Glinda to be Nessa's caretaker.
You mean Alphaba?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then in this one, it was like Nessa was going to go alone, and then the governor at the last minute was go with her. Go
Yeah.
make sure she's. And then she has her whole magical freak out
Mhm.
because the dean lady they made up starts pushing Nessa.
Yeah.
She don't want to be pushed.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one good thing about Bach. He didn't manhandle her chair.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Good
the
on him.
dance was cute.
So
The
cute.
inviting
Yeah,
her to
pulling her by the
dance.
hands. Like I thought that was a really,
Mhm.
really good touch. So he got 1 point. It's the only point he
One
got.
singular point.
We'll take it.
He's on the board.
Yeah.
No, the whole Oz Dust was fun.
So fun. Yeah.
Like I know it's a
want to go
continuation of
there.
Dancing Through Life,
Yeah.
but that whole like 20 minutes of the film are Dancing Through Life. But
Yeah.
Is it that way in the musical?
It's condensed.
kinda, yeah, it's
Yeah.
not as long as the.
Well, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's like not 20 minutes of Dancing Through Life, but like if it's just like 8 minutes of Dancing Through Life with dialogue sprinkled
It's
in or something
about
like
8
I was
minutes.
gonna say
Let me
it
pull
is
it up.
like 7 minutes or something
It's
like
a
that.
long
but
song.
yeah.
It's a banger.
Speaking of that scene, that's another scene that made me choke up. With Alphaba going to the ball. What? What you?
No,
7 and a
just
half minutes.
cringing. It's so much, like
What?
you're saying, so much harder to watch
Oh yeah.
in this version. Her sad little ballet.
Yeah. Is okay. So that's in the musical. I was wondering, just because of how long it was, I was like, is this new?
I was
or-
gonna say it's again one of those. It's way longer in the movie, which makes it so much more painful. Because in the musical, she just does like the 1 or 2 moves, and then Glinda's like, "I gotta go help her." Like, I can't. Versus how this one, they kept
Let's her
making her
founder.
dance by herself,
Yeah.
and she started crying when Glinda joined her.
Yeah, that got me. That really did.
Sick and twisted.
Yeah.
They really did a good job with the cruelty of like
Yeah.
the tragedy of Elphaba's life, because I feel like in a musical they just kind of, I don't know, it's like very paper thin, but here they allow you to like, before she becomes Glinda's friend and is popular, like they really live in that like, this sucks, like every
Yeah.
like, the way Elphaba's being treated sucks, and
Mhm.
everyone is awful,
Yeah.
and it's just not fun to watch.
Yeah. I hate the people of Oz. They're all fake ass bitches. That was my takeaway.
I told Phil after the movie, they were all pointing and laughing at her like she wasn't killing this shit.
Yeah.
Literally.
Like, I get it. It's like, it would be like if Morgan showed up to prom dressed as a witch. But,
Right. That's on brand,
but she got the
actually.
thing on.
Yeah.
She-
And she was hitting that shit.
Mhm.
yeah. Not the.
She was in that shit. Yeah, it was very, very Wednesday Addams.
Yeah. I love Glinda's dress also in that scene. All the costumes. Fuck you, Connor.
Connor just not. I was about to say Connor hates that dress.
The
I had
pink and the
seen-
yellow and
Oh
the.
my god. I had seen the doll of it in person first, and I was like, oh. And then I saw it like in the movie, and I was like, oh, delightful. Beautiful. And I think Ariana said something about like being a fish or something.
I was
And
about
I
to
was
say,
like, oh.
it was
Yeah.
very mermaid like.
Yeah, it's giving beta fish. Like,
Yeah. And then she gave Elphaba her granny's hat. And now her poor granny's got to watch Oz Most Wanted flying around her granddaughter's the hat she made her granddaughter. No. And then,
that
yeah,
bitch stole my granddaughter's hat.
he stole it.
Yeah, Spider-Man stole that guy's pizza.
No, I love her popular outfit. I know, Morgan, you don't like it.
I don't like it
but-
on the doll. Maybe it's better in the movie. I don't remember specifically. Her
I
nightgown
just
is cute, I think,
love
but I
how
don't
it
like the Funko Pop
swishes
of it. Like, yeah,
I love the way she moves throughout popular as well. Talking about like the choreography, like
Yeah.
it's so like silly, but also like it's like trying to be whimsical, but also almost like the realistic of how clunky, like the swinging from the chandelier.
Yeah.
The swimming on the floor.
I love the swimming on the
Yeah.
floor. It got such a good
So
chuckle
funny.
out of me.
Yeah.
Is they just had a blast filming that.
Yeah.
I love them being friends.
Yeah.
While it
It's so
lasted.
girlhood. Yeah. Like the scenes where like they would sit on the same bed in their dorm, and I was just like, I used to do that with my college roommates. We would sit on one of our beds and we would just hang out and have girl talk. Yeah, it was real. It made me miss it in a way that I didn't ever think I would. So, yeah.
Also, her little note to Elphaba when Elphaba is then summoned by the wizard to
Yeah.
the Emerald
Yeah.
City. Glinda's little look. I hope you get everything your heart desires.
Second twist.
And then Elphaba's like, "Come with me."
Yeah.
Because you know what my heart really desires. For
They
you to
need to
be
be
there
a
with me.
Thruple.
Yeah.
Those three, a lot of their, and I'm not the first to say it, and I won't be the last. A lot of their problems would be solved if they were a thruple. So many problems would be solved if they were a thruple.
I was gonna say they did a really good job with the chemistry, but then
Yeah.
again, Jonathan Bailey has chemistry with a horse, so like
Literally.
you can't. You will have chemistry with everyone.
Not the chemistry with the horse.
Yeah, because that horse is the same horse. he had
Yeah.
in Bridgerton.
Yeah, his Bridgerton horse. I did know that.
Oh. You meant the literal horse.
Yeah, he brought it
I
with
thought
him.
you meant because the horse talks.
Oh,
Because the
Does
yeah.
animals
the
of
horse
Oz
talk
talk.
in the book, or no? Is that
I
in the
haven't
book? I
met
don't remember.
Fiero in the book of
Oh.
where I'm at yet.
I
So
haven't gotten that far.
he Fiero, from what I hear, is also very different in the book.
Yes,
Yeah, I
So-
would
I know
imagine.
that. Yeah.
And then one short day in the Emerald
Emerald
City.
City. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I always
that
forget
was-
about that song.
Yeah, I was about to say that was another one of the ones where it's like we're singing what we're doing, like that type of like we're in Oz, look at us, and I was just like, okay, this is. It didn't capture my attention until the mother showed up. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so
was
crazy.
It was like psychic intuition where they were like, and now the Emerald City players. I was like, are these a bunch of actors? This would be a great place for them to cameo. And then they walked onto the stage. I was like, ah!
Yes.
I loved their dresses. I loved their little moments with each of their respective girls.
Yeah.
Like Idina, like touching Cynthia's face. I almost cried. I was like,
Kristen putting her hand on Ariana's mouth. That was
No,
Oh my
it was.
And I'm
Of
pretty
fun.
sure, I don't know for a fact, I didn't look it up, but I'm pretty sure the narrator guy in that scene is the original Fiero.
I
I'm pretty sure.
think he is. Yeah,
Yeah.
I looked it up. There's a whole bunch.
Yeah.
Like everybody in that sequence is from the
Oh,
musical.
I was
There was-
wondering. I was wondering if they
Yeah.
brought more of them in.
I
Yeah.
was like, damn, they packed it. There was like people from the
Yeah.
West End, the like UK
Oh,
run in
wow.
there too.
Oh my
And
god.
then they even brought in the guy who did the book, like for the musical, not the original
Yeah,
book.
yeah.
But yeah,
Oh my
I was
god.
just like, wow,
That's
they just
cool.
shoved everybody in there.
Yeah. I need a
Yeah.
4-hour making of documentary, and I need it yesterday.
Yeah, no, the mother's showing up. That whole bit is fun because that's all original stuff.
Yeah.
For the, like, I don't know if it's book stuff. Again, not that far in the
Right.
book, but
Little
like, I like how they
exposition about
kind
the
of
Grimmery.
delivered.
Mhm.
Yeah, told you what the Grimmery is. It's this magic book from when Oz was,
Ooh.
had all these magical beings running around. Because, now magic's rare.
Yeah.
This magical book. And then they have like the prophecy where they're like, this person who can read the Grimmery is gonna save us all and is gonna do a little
Yeah.
because they have Idina do
Yeah.
the war cry.
So good.
And it is just one of those funny, like, you didn't have to do it, but it is interesting. And I'll be curious again if that will come up in Act 2, since
Yeah.
that's not something that's in the show.
Mhm.
Mm.
That's very good. What if I say before we go to meet the wizard?
The Weezer.
Yeah, they were doing the prophecy, and they didn't know that it was about to go down later that night.
Literally.
Actually.
Little did they know,
Crazy.
20 minutes later,
Yeah.
shit was gonna hit the fan.
Wasn't sure how I was gonna feel about Jeff Goldblum. I was like scared that he might
Yeah.
have stolen or chewed the scenery too much, but he was perfect. He slipped
I
right
love
in.
him.
He's-
Yeah, absolutely. I loved his little like stage set thingy. That was cool. The World of Oz and the light up path and all this.
Yeah, and when
Oh,
they
it
were
was
picking
so
the color of the
cool.
yellow brick
And the
road, I was
moon,
like,
Uh-huh.
bobbing the moon around.
yeah.
You know, the wizard practiced that for like so many days before they came.
All that to be said. I'm sorry, Jeff Goldblum. Nobody can save "Sentimental Man."
Yeah, it's a blind
That's-
it's one of those songs. Yeah.
It's the skip song, like,
Yeah,
when it comes on the
is the
soundtrack.
song. Yeah, he has a better song in Act 2 as well.
Yeah,
Okay, well that's good to know.
I know.
Yeah.
And I think he was just the. I was curious if, because, the wizard is kind of menacing and threatening in the show, and
Yeah.
very much so in the book. Very problematic in the book.
Woo.
But yeah, I was worried it would be too much, kind of like I assume, like you said, Phil, of like, oh, that's Jeff Goldblum. He
Mhm.
Yeah.
can't be scary or threatening.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think they did have Michelle Yeoh kind of
Yeah.
at his side for that.
Yeah.
But
I think it was menacing when he was like with the giant head and everything.
Yeah.
When he was like yelling to the guards, like, bring her to me. I was like, oh, that's actually a little like
Mhm.
like the switch between I'm just like this charming guy, look at me dance, to like go get her, I need that book. Like
yeah.
he did the switch really well, and I was like, oh yeah, like the whole con man thing, and even
Mhm.
like the hints of that down to him like doing the magic trick of the coin behind
Yeah.
Elfie's ear and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, still just the trick. It's all just one giant trick.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting that they tied the coin back around because, like, the coin was what she was trying to levitate in her first magic lesson.
Mhm.
And then he gives her another coin, and I was just like, interesting. Interesting. It's all connected.
I do like the bit with the creating of the Yellow Brick Road, and I love
Yeah.
the he kind of makes it like hopeful, all
Mhm.
roads lead to me. But
Oh,
actually,
Yeah,
All
yeah.
it's actually oh no, oh no.
Crazy. I like the stuff with the hot air balloon. That was cool as fuck.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
all.
Exploring the medium.
Yeah, I was
So
about to say, they
good.
obviously
You
couldn't
can't
do that on
fucking
stage.
do that in a stage show. You don't
Yeah.
have the budget for that shit.
Yeah, and I love that. Again, that leans into like how extra and epic this movie is.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah, and how dark. I love, like, it's not obviously as dark as the book, but
Oh,
I
yeah.
love that it goes there, especially
Yeah.
with Elfie like using the Grimoire, and like I don't know if that's from the musical. When she's saying the
Yeah.
spell, it almost sounds like she's singing it a little bit.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
okay. I was about to say that was really cool,
Yeah.
and just the whole transformation of the
Yeah, it's
monkeys.
brutal.
Yeah, I was like
Yeah.
that was another thing that was hard to
That
watch. I was
shit
like,
hurted.
oh yeah. And they stay on it for a while. Of just,
Yeah.
like, we see one wing, and then we.
It takes
like,
forever for the
yeah,
second one to rip
yeah,
out. I was
yeah.
like,
And then it comes out small and starts growing, and it's just
Yeah.
like, oh, this is
horrible.
awful.
Yeah. Oh, the scene when they go downstairs and there's just blue feathers everywhere, and
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
the monkeys have wings, and I was like, oh my god. And I knew it was gonna happen, but I was just seeing it, just the scale of it. Oh my
I
god.
know, and just the way it's done. Also, is his name Chisari?
Yes.
The main monkey, and how he can't talk because
Mhm.
none of Oz's animals talk.
Yeah.
And Elphaba's like trying, like
She's speaking to him like he's gonna
Yeah.
fight back. Yeah, she's
and he
addressing him
does
like a
not
person.
respond to
Yeah.
her.
Yeah. I picked
And
up on that too. I was
you
like,
kind
oh
of see
my
on
God.
Chisholm's face when the wizard's like, "Oh yeah, all he does is look at the birds all day. He wants to fly." Chisholm's
Like,
shooting the side eye. Who the hell wants to fly? 'Cause it ain't me. The horror of Oz.
Yeah.
they'll make excellent spies.
Uh,
Crazy.
Crazy. Yeah. You wouldn't think that they would like pretend for a second that it was an accident, that wasn't what they wanted. Instead, they're like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah, they're like rubbing their hands together.
I think Elphaba's gonna go for it.
Hey.
She's gonna.
they put too many eggs in that."
Because
basket.
Glinda is fully on like the. I mean, if this is
Yeah.
what I have to do to climb
Right.
the
Yeah,
ladder,
Yeah.
fake ass bitch.
yeah, and all of
I
that
say
leads
fondly.
us.
I love her, but
Yeah.
yeah,
I just thought it was interesting with the balloon bit of we see the poster and it does have the
Yeah.
wizard's, Oscar,
yeah,
whatever his last name is.
yeah. His act back on Earth.
Oh.
If I were Elphaba, I'd have been grabbing all of that shit on my way
He's
out.
a fake. He's a phony. Look at this.
Just on the broom, throwing them up in the air.
The Mean Girls burn book pages.
Like I guess Morrible says in her speech, "Do not believe anything she says." But
that's
still,
right.
I'd be taking
Right.
all that shit with me.
Oh, she has.
I'd be-
Woo. She's not
What?
saying it. She has it in her hand.
She just made that.
Yeah.
She went to the Oz printing press. Had 4 million copies printed.
She logged on to Canva and
Thanks to today's sponsor.
Oh no. And it all leads us into defying gravity,
yeah.
which I learned today in an interview. The director's name is
John
John.
John Chu.
Yes,
Yeah.
John M. Chu.
Chew, yep.
Okay. John M. Chu, in an interview today, I learned from him that Defying Gravity is actually the last thing they shot because they filmed both movies back to back. And he said that it was the last thing they shot.
Last thing for both.
Like out
At
of
least
everything.
that's out of like what he made it sound like in this
Okay.
interview. Like they could have
Wow.
done reshoots or other
Right.
stuff, but he
Yeah.
said Gravity was the last thing they shot because of the strikes last year, and so they had to halt production. And he said
Oh.
that Cynthia and Ariana were terrified to do it because we've been on strike for so long,
Yeah.
and now we have to do the
Right.
closer of the movie. And let me just say, ladies, y'all killed it.
Yeah,
Oh my
that's what I'm saying.
God.
Man, what were they worried about?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Stunning.
Yeah.
Insane.
It's like, yeah, there are no words for that entire sequence.
Yeah.
I-
The build up and the chase and going into that stairwell, that little column, and just their conversation and how they split up the song. I'm assuming this is how they do it in the musical, but it's just such a slow build up, and you know what's coming, but it still delivers like so strongly. And yeah, I loved every second of it.
Yeah.
It's just yeah.
Yeah,
The cape had me crying.
Phil, the cape, yes, the cape is so much more emotional in the
Wrapped
movie. The
around
cape
you, I was
is
like-
literally, the cape is literally a joke in the
Yeah.
musical.
Yeah.
Like, because it's like, haha, she looks like the Wicked Witch now, like she,
Okay.
Like that's the last
Versus-
piece. Yeah.
yeah, versus here it was sad, and,
Yeah.
Elphaba gives her the
fucking
little
sad.
wink, and
Yeah. Oh my god.
Ariana's the little, I hope you're happy.
Yeah.
And yeah, just I told Phil on the car ride, like I kept checking my watch in the theater because, like Phil said, it's so long and but it's not like drawn out and
Right.
agonizingly long. But
Yeah.
I was looking at my watch like, this is Defying Gravity, but there's still 20 minutes left of this
Mhm.
movie. And it is just like
Crazy.
Phil said, the way it's broken up.
Yeah.
And even the detail of her like reading the Grimoire and then Glinda being like, "It didn't even work. You don't have wings." That's from the book too.
Yeah,
The
that's in
musical,
the show.
The show,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, because I was like, that's cool.
Yeah. And it works on the broom instead.
Yeah.
So. Mhm.
Yeah, and I'm assuming it doesn't quite work like how the broom like the broom slowly like cinematically flies up to the. I'm assuming they
Right.
can't do it on stage, so that's why
Right.
that's why I was asking about it.
Yeah. My show was a no-fly show, so I wouldn't know.
Oh,
But
No, it's just like broom on string floats
Yeah.
over to.
Okay. But yeah, because that sequence stood out to me because it just feels like one of those like, oh, this is gonna be in so many cinematic montages, like just
Mhm.
that moment.
I can't wait for the edits.
Oh, it's gonna be so good. Yeah.
Yeah, it is the heartbreaking of both of them. Like I hope you're happy.
Yeah.
Like they start off the song. I'm saying
hope
all
you're
this. It's a 20-year-old song. Everybody's
Yeah.
already said this before, but just yeah, it is heartbreaking
Mhm.
that they start out angry and then it is like accepting. Like
Yeah.
They
okay,
genuinely want
you
the other one
have
be
to
happy.
do this.
Yeah.
I hope
Yeah.
you get what you want out of it.
Mhm.
Yeah, the
And-
fighting and then like Elfie standing up for Glinda a little bit, being like, "It's me you want," like
Yeah.
being like rushing back to being her friend. It's just like, oh, this is too much. I can't take it.
Yeah.
And then she jumps out the window, which, like we said, the effect in the musical is very impressive. The lifting
Oh.
the actress up.
Mhm.
Okay.
But like obviously a movie, we can have her flying
have her
around on a
plummet.
blue screen.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I was gonna say it's one of those things that like it seems like okay they can use this because of it's a movie and the medium of just like her looking in the reflection and seeing her younger self.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's a really good beat.
So sweet.
Just yeah, looking at the most innocent version of herself and all of it
Mhm.
culminating into this moment. It really did feel like a superhero movie. Like it's a big
Mhm.
superhero moment down to the cape. Like everything about it is just
Yeah.
like I really did just miss this kind of sweeping epic fantasy type of thing. And I think of anything like I know it's dumb to talk about franchise and stuff, but I think if anything deserves like to be the next hit franchise, it should definitely not be Harry Potter. We should let that go. But I think there's so much of like Oz to explore. This made me like get back into my Oz obsession, where I'm like, oh my god,
Yes.
I want to like get back into this world. This is so fun and whimsical. But yeah,
Yeah. And the good news is there's like 1 billion Wicked books. I don't know exactly how many, but there's a bunch. There's a sequel, Son of a Witch.
yeah.
And
I
then
thought
there's a
there's
bunch
like
of other
5,
ones.
right? Or,
Yeah.
and
So
I know one
I'm
of the
in-
Lion
in
has
theory.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they set it up with the Lion Cub, and I think it's
Mhm.
Steven Schwartz, the guy who wrote the music for the
Yeah.
musical, said that they were thinking about continuing it past part 2,
Yeah.
like looking at the other stories and seeing what they can do, and I'm all for it.
That would
Like,
be crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
hey, if Disney can do shit like Mufasa, like what you know, let's
Yeah.
let's just keep going.
Oh, hey, let's not.
What?
We don't necessarily want Mufasa.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying Mufasa quality, but it's like if you're gonna do that idea, do it like with something interesting like this.
Yeah.
If any franchise is deserving of a Mufasa, I would say it's Wicked. Like you could keep going beyond the musical.
Yeah.
But what do you even say? I wish I kind of saw this in 3D. Like when she takes flight, like that whole sequence is fun. The monkeys chasing behind her and everything. I was like, damn, I wish I saw this in IMAX. Like I even with down to the sound, like I feel like the theater we went to didn't have like the
It
most
was
booming
quiet
sound. Yeah.
When we saw it, I was thinking about getting up and going to say something, but I didn't
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
miss anything.
Yeah, I had the same thought. I was like,
Yeah.
is this me, or because I thought this
Yeah,
is like
it felt
adult
quiet.
cinema. Like, is it supposed to
Mhm.
be like big? But yeah,
Yeah. Big old crazy. I mean, there's a reason they had to split it into two, because this is how do you follow this up?
mm,
Mhm.
But yeah, I liked how they added the bit where she goes up into the clouds and is singing "I Am Unlimited."
Yeah.
That's new,
Ew.
like that's for the
Mhm.
movie,
what the
and I
unlimited part, like the reprise,
yeah,
almost.
Yeah.
Okay. Hmm.
and I liked it because at least I feel it's there to give us that moment to see the supporting cast reaction to
Yeah.
Defying Gravity,
Hmm.
like how we see Bach, Nessa Rose, and Fiero's
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I love
reactions to the
that.
sky turning
Yeah.
green
Yeah.
and Madame Morrible's announcement.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just
So good.
ugh.
Yeah.
Oh well, that's cool. I didn't. Yeah, the unlimited part being like a reprise that they added into this movie version is really cool.
Mhm.
Because I love. I've been listening to Defying Gravity all day too, and I love that the unlimited goes into the and no wizard that there is or was. Like it just blends so
Mhm.
seamlessly into it that I was like, oh, that's just the song. But I didn't know they added that. That's cool. That's like my favorite part from that sequence.
Mhm.
And I was hesitant about the whole idea of like, oh, they sang live on set because it always like sometimes
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
doesn't always work out. But this one went so hard with it. Like
Mhm.
specifically the line you just said, the nobody in all of Oz, the
Yeah.
way she's
Mhm.
like out of breath and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
mad and
Yeah.
Yeah.
heartbroken
Yeah.
and it's almost spoken more than sung.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then she sings again.
And yeah, this the and feeling her power with the sky turning green and all of the
Mhm.
lights exploding and all the like paper
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
flyers flying around and the hair blowing. I was like, oh, this is
So
so
good.
cinematic. It's great.
Mhm.
The power going out in Oz was so cool,
So
like you
good.
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
And it's like, the lights cut out in the stage show because that's the intermission. But
Yeah.
yeah, the
That's yeah.
lights, she literally knocks out the Emerald City and then Sonic booms away.
Mhm.
Glinda's I Hope You're Happy, I think, is
yeah.
so much better in the movie version than in the not that's nothing against Kristen
Right.
Chenoweth. I
Yeah, yeah,
think
yeah.
that is again just being able to get right up in Glinda's face and like seeing she's sad while she's singing it. Like it is a
Mhm.
sad
Yeah.
if you're happy. One last I hope you're happy before they split their ways.
And we see like Madame Horrible literally clutching her. Like they have the
Mm.
shot of her hugging and like grabbing Glinda tight. I was just like, ooh, this is so gross.
Yeah.
Glinda's a victim of her own circumstance, like her own upbringing.
Mhm.
Like it is the
yeah.
system is all. Like
Yeah.
Alphabet has been raised to hate the system because the
Mhm.
system hates her versus Glinda being like well,
Coddled.
why is the wizard really that bad?
I was gonna say maybe if you
You know,
just say sorry, that'll fix everything. Like that
yeah.
Yeah.
type of mindset, that naivete.
Because I have always been an Alphaba girly, but
Mhm.
I do admit I see Glinda's POV more in the movie now
Hmm.
than I have in the past.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, and then we get the shot of Elfie, boom, Sonic booming off, and then we get the giant to be continued.
Yeah, I didn't think they'd throw the to be
Me
continued up there.
I was
either.
curious.
Like obviously we knew it was a part one because
Right.
the movie literally says part one, but
Mhm.
to nail on the head with the to be continued.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I was wondering throughout the movie if we would get some sort of tag, like how we were saying on the car ride home, like how we were surprised there wasn't like a trailer for part two at the end of the credits or something like that. Of just like
Yeah.
something to acknowledge that more is coming, even though it says part one, so obviously more is
Mhm.
coming. Just like the hinting and cliff. You know, it already ends on a cliffhanger, but were they gonna address like, hey, don't touch that dial. We'll be right back.
Yeah. Like how Back to the Future Part 2 ends with the like quick
Yeah.
montage of 3
Yeah,
Mhm.
and is, see you next summer.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I also understand because how they said they're editing it right now that it might not even be finished. So
Yeah. Let alone like color graded and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
So yeah.
And also, I didn't know this thing wrapped in January. Like that's crazy.
Oh.
Yeah, I was looking up. Yeah,
Whoa.
because like how Connor mentioned, the strike like put a big pause
Yeah.
on things, and then they came back to finish everything, and they officially wrapped back in January. It's like
That's
whoa.
crazy. Yeah. They made it work.
Yeah, I mean,
They
yeah, yeah.
worked. Oh my god.
Watch Part 2 be the biggest steaming pilot.
I'm scared.
Watch
I'm gonna
them
be honest.
fumble it so hard. What if I died?
It's like making me wait a year for a mess.
Yeah.
Like I really, yeah. It just needs to be better than Battle of the Five Armies. That's all it needs. That's all it needs.
The
That's a little hard.
duality.
Yeah.
Do you get a Dune Part 2 or do you get a Battle of the Five Armies?
Oh my god.
Where it's seamless and we're just right back into it? Or we stretched ourselves too thin.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder how it's gonna start. Of just like, are we gonna hit the ground running, or are
Yeah.
we gonna do more like grandiose, stretch it out, like how this one has the opening
Mhm.
of like the witch is dead.
Yeah. I wonder if they'll start with more Wizard of Oz stuff at the beginning of Act 2. Like Connor said, like the opening of the book is go kill the witch. I wonder if that's where we're starting at the beginning of Act 2 this time.
Yeah, I can see that actually.
Yeah. Because we got that little flicker of them at the beginning
Yeah.
of this one going down the road. And I was
And
like,
that was fun.
yeah. More than I expected, even.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we have seen that they meet the wizard. Like that shot is in the trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the original first look trailer was clips from both movies, and so
That's crazy.
we do see that. Which that's where I was talking to Morgan while I was reading the book of like, oh, I think that is the opening of the movie is the go kill the witch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I completely forgot about that shot until you brought it up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so they could take the book opening and move it to the opening of Part 2, but
good movie, really
Good movie.
Yeah, they weren't making him like this for a really long time. I was gonna say they don't make him like this anymore, but they just have it in a really long time, and now.
Yeah.
This is how good movies could be, you guys. This is one of the ones where I'm like, you have to see this in theaters. I do not recommend watching this from the comfort of your home.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you gotta go experience this on the big screen.
I do wonder if next year they'll show the first one. Like
I
when
would
it
love
gets
to do a double.
to the second one, yeah. Like maybe the opening couple of weekends. Maybe they do both, but I don't know.
I would do double in IMAX. I would love to do that.
I was gonna say they'll definitely at least do a like opening night double feature because
that would slap.
They always do that stuff, like with Dune and the. Well, they used to do it when the MCU wasn't 40
enough.
movies.
Yeah.
But...
yeah.
So, yeah. Now the wait begins.
Yeah.
The great wait.
Only like what, 364 more days?
Oh. That gift from the Nightmare Before Christmas. You're like 364 more days until Halloween.
God, what am I supposed to do until then?
I'm gonna get waist deep in AO3 fan fiction. Maybe deeper. Maybe deeper than that. Might be writing some. I don't know. I've been having thoughts. Many thoughts on this day. Oh, so many thoughts. Usually I ask, do you have room for a third? In this case, I'm like, do you have room for a fourth? Is there
Not the square.
let me just slide right in there.
She's gonna
Oh.
write herself in as
I
a
am.
female Bach.
Well,
I'm just a little munchkin girl.
I'll block out of the way.
Yeah, you push.
I'm gonna shove him off his little stack of books. Just move over, bitch.
I was just about to say, move, bitch. From White Chicks.
Move, bitch.
Oh my
You
god.
kick the books from underneath his feet.
Kick him in the back and the knees. Take him right down.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. I know, suddenly, now at the end of our conversation, you bring up Bach.
Yeah.
How also with the movie of like Elphaba and Nessa Rose's conversation about it felt more like a
Yeah.
pointing out like I'm fumbling here, but that like that they do view Glinda as good, as kind, like
Mm-hmm.
like Elphaba is aware enough of it, like she questions it, but then she is like, the maybe that girl's not so bad, and then she gives her the hat, and so she thinks she's being nice.
Yeah, that's why she goes to the.
She gets set up for failure.
Yeah. I will say they did that turn really well of like enemies to friends to kind of frenemies again. Like all done really well, and I think helped by that massive runtime.
Mm-hmm.
Like it is a really long movie, but it doesn't waste. It's like the Batman, where it's like movie is maybe too long, but it doesn't waste any time. So I can't be so mad.
Yeah, they kept moving. I never felt like, all right, well, when are we? Like I never felt like we were sitting too long with anything. Like anytime I started to feel like that, we would move on to the next thing, and I was like, okay, we're going.
That's where I was worried about the extended runtime, but not adding songs.
Yeah,
was that then your like song to dialogue ratio grows?
I think that actually kind of helped, because I don't know if it's like, I don't know, because I feel like in a musical it's just song, like,
no, that's where, like you said, things don't get a chance to be fleshed out as much as they did here, because we have to go sing the next song. Versus here we actually are like, well, what about that animal racism? Maybe we should talk about that.
What's up with that?
Yeah.
Oh god, that also I didn't expect the animal stuff to hit me as hard as it did, but like the chalkboard thing of like the animal should be seen,
and you
not
just
heard.
sit with the silence.
And then just like they did a really good job with the animation, just the eyes on Dr. Dilliman, like kind of like the fear. Yeah. And the who did this? Like I was like, oh, like I was just like that actually really dug deep.
Yeah.
And then the slowly losing his ability to speak, and he was like acting more goat-like, was so haunting. Yeah. They did a really good job with that stuff.
Yeah. So heartbreaking. Peter Dinklage killed it.
Yeah.
Good job, King.
The one time he's tried to voice act.
Yeah.
Well, he had Ice Age 4.
I said try.
Try. I think he tried in that movie.
You have to try in the fourth film in the children's series. My other note. Firo is less of an asshole. It suits him. Yeah, because in the show I remember him being a dickhead with a capital D for like a while. I remember him having a line about, because he almost runs over Elphaba, and he's like, well, he thought green meant go. runs her over. But he's just charming right out the gate. He's just
to
very
be honest,
nice.
I couldn't really read him that way. Like I couldn't tell if he was like himbo, but then Elfie was like seeing through him and being like, you actually have a soft spot. So I'm like, is he dumb and acting that way, or is he an asshole but also has a soft spot? Like I couldn't place it exactly what was going on, like what the personality of that character was. Like if he actually is reckless or is he just pretending. Like that was a little.
Yeah. He's an enigma, my
I was
man.
gonna say, I think that's where Glinda and Elphaba
Yeah.
challenge, like,
Yeah.
as the words of Dancing Through Life say, it is easier to just, mindlessly
more
dance through
careless.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Glinda, but then, he sees Elphaba for who she is and hears her
Mhm.
words, and maybe
Glinda's
I should
easy
do
to
some
be
more
with because you
thinking.
don't have to
Yeah.
think about it. Yeah. Elphaba forces you to introspect.
Mm.
So, yeah. It's also fun. Like, this is just so surface level, but I think it's so fun to have, like, a magical college as well.
Yeah.
Because, like, so many times it's high school. I feel like it's just
Yeah.
fun to have
Yeah.
older characters to play with. Yeah.
Yeah.
His shit about, like, it's just easier when people don't, don't talk and don't ask questions.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna make all the animals unable to speak.
Yeah. I didn't know until I was watching one of those like documentaries about the making of the musical that he's supposed to be George Bush coded.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
And especially the era. Yeah.
and the whatever like nothing brings people together like a good enemy. Like that's a Bush quote. Like yeah. And now I feel even ickier about him than I did previously. But yeah, I didn't know that, and it struck me so deep when I heard that. I was like, oh.
I love that
Wow.
the cheat code for writing a good villain is just basing them off a politician.
United States president.
Yeah, every
Pick
time.
one. Yeah. Yeah, the Sprite Alphabet Cup is kind of iconic, actually.
I swear to God, if in a year I don't get Fortnite skins, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Literally, I was
I'm going
thinking
to
it while we were in the theater.
Like the amount of marketing
did
they've
every
done for
other
this
merch.
movie.
They did all the other merch. Please give us jam tracks. Give us emotes.
Not the
We're
jam
gonna
tracks.
get the exact opposite of what we want. We're gonna get like Fiero and Call of Duty or something.
Yeah. You're gonna get
Like,
Elphaba and Glinda, but they're gonna be in PUBG.
No.
I'll put on my Space Lady Ariana and pretend she's Glinda. It's the only Ariana I have.
The emotes and everything are right there.
Really? They have
crazy.
dances. Give us the Ozdust looks. I think both of those would be fine to fight in Fork Knife. It's a short enough skirt that I feel like it wouldn't be hindering. I don't like the skins with long skirts on. It just gets in the way.
You could bring their like shiz uniforms or something.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that. Yeah.
Why are you laughing?
Just Elphaba with her hair up,
Oh,
with her glasses, with a gun.
You could bring back the flying brooms and everything.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. And
Those
Glinda's
would be their
glider can be the
gliders.
bubble.
Yeah. No, I just mean like around the map, like how you can fly around.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Next, Fortnitemares. Y'all.
Yes.
Do they have it for every Four Nightmares?
Yeah, the brooms
every
come back
Halloween.
for Fortnitemares every Halloween, so.
Okay, nice. Well,
And
I
then
mean,
you
and-
can put them in there, because then it'll lead up to November
yeah,
when the
as I
movie
say,
comes out.
have them there for 2 whole months.
So
Yeah, that could be an emote too.
yeah. On the bike. Transversal emote. Very slowly.
No, wait a minute. Now
See?
they're
Yeah.
cooking.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Get epic on the line.
Yeah, we need to work there.
Yeah. We know Ari's not opposed to being in Fortnite. She's done it so many times.
Yeah.
Please. Please. Please.
But then we have to pay them for their faces again.
They already paid Ari. They can just use the same model again.
I
Once
don't
more.
think that's how that
Not how
works.
that works. Not in the slightest how that works. But I was hoping to love it, but I didn't want to let my hopes get too high. Just because, and I like the trailer, but it didn't like sell me on it the way that I needed it to. and like seeing it all like fleshed out, full realized, just really just so good.
I was the opposite. I loved the trailers because I thought they were so good, and I let Twitter get into my head how everybody was dissecting it. Like, this movie looks awful. It's so great. Look at the choreography. Ariana's voice isn't that good. And I was like, people are starting to trick me into thinking, maybe this movie will be bad. And then I went to go see it, and I was like, oh, never mind.
It's like
So I'm almost kind of grateful for it that I had Twitter to just be like, to corrupt me and make me fear. And then it was one of the best movies this year.
Surprise.
But then again, there weren't a lot of good movies. But still,
it's been so dry this year. Actually, this morning I just felt hungover. Like all I could do was just.
It literally felt like I went to a concert because like there's that post-concert depression of like, what do I do now? And so I woke up today. I was like, damn, that was the highlight of my week. So. Did you guys see what John M. Chu tweeted?
No.
He said, officially, tell your movie theater to turn it up to a 7. I've gone to a couple screenings, and they're more like at a 6 or 6.4. So we might have actually had to tell our theater to turn it up.
Okay.
Like Spider-Verse.
Yeah, like Spider-Verse.
And Morgan's stolen sticker.
Yeah.
That she turned into a magnet.
I did. I immortalized it. The very cool thing that I'm not supposed to have. No one knows I took this. Also, like no one knows that I have this.
What are they gonna do?
No, literally, I've had it for a year. It was in my Craven tube when they gave me my first Craven poster. First, because I'm getting another one because it came out a fucking year later, but or it will come out.
She gonna get the standee too.
I don't even know if we're getting one.
Is that the only one your theater had, that sticker?
I think so, because it was just in that tube, and
You're
it was
fired.
sent to the theater. And I only got it because I opened the tube, and it came out, and usually it's just the posters in there, and so I tipped it to like get the posters out, and there were like 2 posters in the tube, and then this slid out, and there was a piece of paper that I have in my binder that was like, from the team at Sony, thank you so much for being awesome and playing the movie at the right volume, blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, oh, no.
Somebody stop her. She's going to steal the one for
I'm
Wicked.
not supposed to have that. Yeah. But I do. And then there was the part of me that was like, I should turn this in. But then I was like, first of all, what are they going to do with it? It's going to end up on like the filing cabinet in the manager's closet. And second of all, I will cherish it way more. I will cherish it so much for the rest of my days.
I need
Gladiator will sell like 20 tickets for Gladiator, and then Wicked comes around and we sold like 100 for one of our theaters. That was the one that almost sold out. It was just like the bottom section down by the screen that was still mostly empty, but the whole upper section was red, just like sold like almost all the way out. There were a couple seats here and there.
Good. Excellent.
Yeah.
I need this movie to make Alpha $1 billion.
Yeah. Alpha billion! I was
Get
trying to
him outta
find the
here.
pun all day and I couldn't find the pun.
You know I'm the pun master. What?
Wickillion? Wickabillion? No.
Alpha $1 billion.
Alpha $1 billion. Yeah,
I
there
need
it
to
is.
make Alpha $1 billion so Universal will value musicals enough to make Back to the Future, the musical, the movie.
Yes.
Like Robert
Oh
Zemeckis
my God.
wants. Because I need that.
Please.
I just need it.
Yeah, and give Marty McFly curly hair. Curly haired Marty.